Hey you guys, it's me SpongeBob number one fan 2003 here. And as you can see, I'm here with the original SpongeBob Goes to the Doctor book. And I know that I've done so many videos on this story, like, the 2022 book I reviewed a couple months ago or so. And I did 2 comparisons, and I've done like 2 narrations with this book. But I've noticed that I don't think I ever did, like, a normal review on the original version of SpongeBob Goes to the Doctor. So, yep. And surprisingly, I've had this book since, like, 2019, like, summer 2019, and it's still in really great condition, and it's definitely one of my personal favorite ones, and it's really special to me, too. Okay, so as you can see on the front cover of this book, there is poor little SpongeBob, and he is sick with the suds, obviously, and he has a thermometer in his mouth. It says that he has a fever, and he has like this robe wrapped around him because, like, whenever you're sick, it kind of, affects your body temperature if you have a fever. So, like, you know what I mean. And then there's like a conch shell shaped tissue box, and there's some used tissues all over his bed and stuff, and obviously he's in bed and stuff, and here is the spine really quick. SpongeBob Goes to the Doctor, and here is the back. So obviously there is the description about the story right here, and then there's poor little SpongeBob. Oh, look at him. And then there are some other books right here that you can get, which we do have all of them. And this book was made by Stephen Banks and illustrated by Zena Saunders, and this version was apparently made by Scholastic. So I wouldn't say that this is the original version, because the book was made by Simon Spotlight, but this is like the school edition, like, the version that you can find in, school and stuff, like, school. Alright? So here is an exact same picture of SpongeBob with his red nose and cheeks, and he just looks so sad. I just feel so bad for him. And again, this book was made by Stephen Banks and illustrated by Zena Saunders, and this was obviously based off of the episode called The Suds. And this version was obviously made in 2005 because, yeah, this is a really old book. I was about 2 years old when this was made. Okay, so, yeah, and I know that I've described this story so many times, but, like, just for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna do it again. So, SpongeBob wakes up one morning, and he feels very, very yucky, and sick feeling, and, like, bleh, and, he realizes that he has the suds, because as he sneezes, pink bubbles blow out of all of the holes in his body. And, like, he has the suds, he doesn't get colds or anything. And yeah, the suds is actually a disease that sponges can only get. And Gary says that SpongeBob can just, stay home and stuff, and he can miss a day of work. But, SpongeBob says that he can't miss work because he doesn't want to miss a day of working at the Krusty Krab. So SpongeBob obviously has a very hard time with working and stuff. As you can see, he sneezes on the patties, and he drops his spatula, and there's, like, bubbles everywhere. And Mr. Krabs asks SpongeBob, like, what's going on, and SpongeBob says that he's feeling perfectly fine, but as you can see, SpongeBob is not fine. And Mr. Krabs sees that SpongeBob is really pale in color, and he is really, really weak, and, he thinks that SpongeBob has the suds, and of course he does. He asks SpongeBob, does he have the suds? But SpongeBob says that he doesn't, and he feels great. But Mr. Krabs sees that SpongeBob is way too sick to work, so he sends him home for the day. And you can see that SpongeBob's legs are actually kind of wobbly right here. Like, you can see that they're a bit more, like, curved because, like, SpongeBob's really weak, so he can barely walk. And as you can see, since SpongeBob did sneeze on the patties, the customers look very disgusted. They're like, ew, he sneezed on my burger! So, yeah. So Mr. Krabs sent SpongeBob home. And then as soon as SpongeBob gets home, he realizes that he needs to take care of this before he gets worse. So he decides to call his friend Sandy and ask her to take him to the doctor and that he's sick. And Sandy says, "Of course, I'll be there faster than you can say, Sandy, I'm sick, can you take me to the doctor?" So, as SpongeBob gets all bundled up and ready to go to the doctor and stuff, he's wearing a scarf and coat and hat because, again, favors can affect your body temperature. Despite you feeling hot, you're so cold. Really. So, yeah. So Patrick sees SpongeBob like he comes over for a small visit, and SpongeBob explains that he's sick and he's going to go to the doctor, but Patrick says that the doctor's office is a horrible place to go to because the horrors at the doctor is that they make you sit in the waiting room again, and they make you read old magazines, and now SpongeBob is really scared and afraid, and he doesn't want to go to the doctor now. So, now SpongeBob is, terrified of the doctor, so he asks Patrick if he can be his doctor, and Patrick puts corks into all of SpongeBob's holes, as you can see. But, when SpongeBob sneezes, no more bubbles come out, but he just ends up getting really, really big. And SpongeBob thinks that the treatment is working, and he thinks that he's feeling better, so he doesn't want to go to the doctor, and he calls Sandy and tells her that she doesn't need to come, but obviously his fingers are way too big because, he's blowing up really, really huge. So Patrick calls Sandy and tells her that she doesn't need to come, take SpongeBob to the hospital, but Sandy says to Patrick that he's not a doctor and she'll be there faster than a barefoot jackrabbit in a race. So Patrick and SpongeBob are now freaking out, and Patrick tries many times to get SpongeBob better, like he puts a giant band-aid on SpongeBob's nose. And then he puts jellyfish jelly on SpongeBob's feet, and now Patrick's playing a song on the accordion, and SpongeBob doesn't feel any better, obviously, because those aren't really treatments. So SpongeBob doesn't feel any better now. And then Sandy arrives, and she knocks on the door, but Patrick says that SpongeBob is not home, there's no one here. And Patrick says, leave your message after the beep, beep. But, okay, so again, this SpongeBob face right here is absolutely terrifying. Like, what the heck is this? Okay, so, and Sandy, gets SpongeBob out of the house and tries to push him to the hospital. But, Patrick insists to her that he's perfectly fine and healthy. But obviously SpongeBob is not fine. So they fight over him, and then SpongeBob starts rolling down the hill toward the Krusty Krab. And luckily SpongeBob stops in time before he hits the building, but then he lets out a ginormous sneeze, and that destroys the Krusty Krab. Excuse me. So now SpongeBob, now SpongeBob's back to his usual size, but he does need a real doctor because he's so sick. He needs a real doctor. So, he sees the best doctor, Bikini Bottom, and the doctor kindly asks SpongeBob if he's ready for the treatment, but SpongeBob doesn't know if he wants the treatment because of the magazines in the waiting room. But the doctor says that he's just going to give him a little pill and he'll feel better in no time. So SpongeBob takes the medicine, and fortunately that treatment works, and SpongeBob is now completely better from the suds, and as you can see, he is back to normal. And Patrick is reading an old magazine, and SpongeBob tells Patrick that he's reading an old magazine, and Patrick is so scared that he runs away as fast as he can, and that's pretty much it for the story. Alright, so that's pretty much all for the original version of SpongeBob Goes to the Doctor. I know that I've done so many videos on this type of story before, but like, I never like did a normal review on this book, so like, you know, why the heck not do it today? But, I mean, despite me doing so many videos on this book, I mean, I have to admit, it's really enjoyable because, like, you know, you don't need to be scared to go to the doctor at all because, like, you know, doctors are kind and helpful, and if you're sick, they'll make you feel better, and, like, you know, they'll give you treatments, and you'll be better in no time. And, yep, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So goodbye everybody, have a great day, and peace out.